Hi, I'm Mr. Choi with King's Academy, here to talk to you about the Afternoon English Language Arts program. Language Arts program is broken into three distinct areas: grammar, sentences, and essays. And there is an English language arts program for all grades, everywhere from elementary school through high school. So let's discuss grammar. Grammar being the foundation of reading and writing. And for example, let's discuss nouns. Studying English grammar is beneficial for several reasons, especially with our younger students, but also with older students as well. So students are able to expand their vocabulary, improve both their speaking as well as their writing. Understanding how nouns function in sentences, such as their role as subjects, objects, or possessives, can help students build more complex and grammatically correct sentences. And nouns used effectively in writing create clear, concise, and effective sentences. Here on the left, if you take a look here, I know the text is a little small to see in this PowerPoint. We have some worksheets that are designed for our elementary age students. At King's, we try to use materials that are both educational, but also fun. So it's very, very important in order to engage younger students versus boring them. So it leads to higher retention. And some types of exercises that we run with our students. And this is a prime example of one in terms of understanding and identifying nouns and the different types of nouns that are there. We have here in this little passage. So let's take a minute to read through this and identify the nouns. Even lunch leftovers Mrs. Quimby had wanted to clear out of the refrigerator had been dreary, with her parents who both seemed tired or discouraged or both, having little to say, and Beezus mysteriously moody. If we take a look here, we have our nouns, our lunch, leftovers, Mrs. Quimby, refrigerator, parents, and of course, Beezus, okay? And by identifying these nouns, of course, the non-capital lowercase nouns, of course, are common nouns, and of course, Mrs. Quimby and Beezus being proper nouns. It helps readers, if they understand that the noun structure in terms of grammar and the types of nouns, we can already tell that there are two people that are being discussed here, and we can tell what type of lunch it is. It's leftovers, so foods that were made the day before. And where were they? They were in the refrigerator. And what was lunch like? It was dreary, so it wasn't fun. It was kind of sad, depressed. And then, of course, what about Ramona's parents? They were both what? They were both tired or discouraged. So they were in bad moods. And lastly, Beezus. Beezus was what? Beezus was mysteriously moody. So she was also, not her usual self. So identifying nouns is something that is very important, but also all phases of grammar, as if we take a look at this passage as well, in terms of the verbs as well as the adjectives and the relationships that they have. It can lead to better reading comprehension. Next up, let's talk about sentences. And sentences are the application of grammar to create a variety of descriptive and concise communication, basically a complete thought. Learning proper sentences is beneficial for students because oftentimes, in my experience, students write as quickly and as briefly as possible because either they've got other homeworks that they want to get to, or they want to go out and play or play video games. So oftentimes there isn't much time developing their sentences. So oftentimes you end up with very simple, disorganized sentences. So proper sentence structure is critical for writing. So writing well-written sentences expresses ideas in a very clear and concise manner. And when students understand how sentences are structured, they can better comprehend what they're reading and extract important information from text. So not only is it beneficial in terms of creating information and writing and expressing your ideas, but it's also very important in terms of understanding ideas that you read because you know how sentences are structured. And finally, a benefit of studying sentences is that many standardized tests, such as the SAT and ACT, also for any students that are applying, say, for instance, to private schools, such the SSAT or the ISEE examinations, they do test a little bit in terms of the reading ability. So, they test sentence structure in these cases. So studying sentence structure will help students build a stronger foundation that will actually benefit them well and help them do better on these types of examinations in the future. And if we take a look on the left here in terms of the examples that we have some sentence exercises. And again, these materials are designed for elementary age students to help with their engagement and make these activities more interesting and fun, as well as to help with retention. Here's an example of what we mean by sentence quality in terms of sentence development. If we take a look at the first example, she took dance lessons. She had no natural grace, sense, or of rhythm. She eventually gave up the idea of becoming a dancer. That's right and all, but it is a very choppy, very, I wouldn't say smooth flowing group of sentences. Now, however, when developing sentence skills and learning to use coordinating conjunctions, we can make this a lot smoother. So if we have here, she took dance lessons, but she had no natural grace or sense of rhythm, so she eventually gave up on the idea of becoming a dancer. It flows much better, it has better rhythm, and better overall sentence fluency. So these are the types of sentences that, we hope that our program here at King's will allow your children to develop. And lastly, the essay. So the essay is like the culmination of all various aspects of the first two sections. It's a matter of understanding both grammar, it's understanding sentence structure, creating sentences that flow, and of course, we haven't discussed it here, but we'll a little bit more in terms of paragraph structure, how to place the sentences and information together to create something that flows, reads easily, and not only is concise and detailed, but also very coherent. So we're going to be talking a little bit here about structuring paragraphs. So first off, being able to create a well-organized structured paragraph helps you to communicate ideas more clearly and more in a more focused manner. Structuring paragraphs improves writing skills because being able to chunk information down into different pieces, it allows writers to basically organize different pieces, much like a jigsaw puzzle or like a Tetris board, into smaller, more manageable pieces, allowing them to easily, and I would say with less effort, organize their thoughts to create a cohesive essay. And paragraph, also a benefit of understanding paragraph structure, it promotes critical thinking by encouraging students to analyze information and to put it in a way that is logical. And finally, of course, with paragraph, which we alluded to about sentence structure, in terms of paragraph structure, the writing portion of standardized exams do test on students' understanding of logical placement of ideas and information. So by learning paragraph structure and in the essay writing process, it does and it can lead to higher scores on standardized tests. We do have an example over here of paragraph structure. And in this example, we have, of course, ideas. So we have the topic sentence right over here. So I believe that if all public school children were required to wear uniforms, this would make life much simpler for principals, parents, and students. So we have the first. So this is our topic sentence. And of course, all of our support sentences must refer to and answer the question about why wearing school uniforms is going to make life easier for parents and principals. So our first support sentence is here. It says that first off, that the school administrators don't have to make so many rules about student dress. And to expand upon that idea is our detailed sentence. They have to what? They only need to simply monitor they would simply monitor each student require that each student wear the required uniform. And a benefit of this, of course, is we have support sentence 2 here. There is unfortunately no detail that expands upon it. It frees them up to do other things. Personally, of course, I do not like the word things because it is very ambiguous. We have support parent sentence 3, again, all pointing back to, again, it makes it simpler for parents, teachers and student administrators, parents and students. In addition, parents would not be burdened by the endless search for brand name clothing. And of course, the detail sentence is over here, is that their decisions will be minimal because all they have to do is simply order out of a catalog the students' uniforms. And then we have our fourth support sentence, the reason why it's ideal for students. Students don't have to take time in terms of what they wear. They would just wear what was necessary, required, and just get on to getting prepared for school. And then lastly, the closing sentence that basically wraps up or gives a final idea or final statement. Therefore, if school uniforms were adopted, everyone involved would have a simpler, more productive life. So again, in terms of understanding how everything, all the support information gives back and supports the topic sentence, and how the detail sentences expand upon the support sentence information is critical. And these are the types of exercises that we hold for all ages in terms of students here at King's in terms of our ELA program. And I hope that this answers a lot of questions in terms about what we cover. And I hope that to hear from you soon. Well, thank you for your time. Have a nice day.